All right. Joining us this evening, great pleasure, Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas. Senator Cruz, always, sir, it's great to see you. Can we just start? I mean, there's so many things to talk about, but let's talk about the IRS. I mean, this is taxation and coercion, and I hate conservatives without any representation at all. And this is and I didn't know this, Senator, but the Wall Street Journal editorial said that the allocation of $80 billion is 6 times their current budget. I did not know that, so that makes it even worse. Anyway, have you looked into this monstrosity?
So I have. It is a terrible bill. There are many aspects of it that are terrible, but one of the ones you just asked about, this bill funds 87,000 new IRS agents. Imagine IRS agents descending upon America like a swarm of locusts. And by the way, these IRS agents aren't there to go after billionaires. They're there to go after you. They're there to go after your small business. They're there to go after your family. The Democrats' idea is if they audit the hell out of every American, think of all the money they can raise. Now, I got to say, as I've traveled Texas, as I've traveled the country, I've heard the people yearning for a lot of things in America. I've never once heard someone say, what we need is more IRS agents. I mean, this is big government run amok. And if you don't want to be audited next year and the year after and the year after, and by the way, if you're a Republican donor, this corrupt administration will audit you next year and the year after and the year after, we ought to kill this terrible, terrible bill.
Yeah, you know, first of all, they're scoring this. The CBO has it in their latest documents, but they're scoring this as a plus, I don't know, $150 billion from the 86 or 87,000 new agents, which is all a bunch of malarkey. We've seen this movie before, and it never plays out. But can I come back to your other point? Who do you think they're going to go at? They're going to go after small, unincorporated, you know, pass-through, subchapter S business, making 200 grand or less, can't afford all the high-priced legal fees to take the IRS into court. And, Senator, they're going to go after conservatives. The memory of Lois Lerner lingers on. I just want to put that in. I don't know who the lowest learners are now in the IRS, but I will bet you in that deep state agency, there are Lois Lerners.
Well, you know, this bill, there are clear winners and there are clear losers. The losers are manufacturers, the losers are small businesses, the losers are blue-collar workers. That's who they're targeting. The winners are Democratic lobbyists, IRS agents, and California environmentalist billionaires. And it really is quite amazing. So you look at, for example, what they're calling the corporate minimum tax. As you know, the most important part of the 2017 tax cuts, what was allowing for immediate expensing of capital expenditures. So if you're a small business, let's say you're an auto manufacturer, and you go and build a new line to make new cars and make new trucks, you could immediately expense that, which means you have an incentive to invest capital and hire a bunch of new workers. What this bill is saying is, you know what, we don't want you to open a new line. We don't want new manufacturing. You're not going to hire those workers. By the way, if you're a union member right now, you're getting screwed in this bill because it will dramatically reduce investment in new jobs. And I'll tell you something else. There's an element of this bill that is particularly noxious. It's buried in there, which is the Democrats are trying to overturn the Supreme Court's West Virginia versus EPA victory came just a month ago, where the court concluded the EPA didn't have the ability to rewrite our environmental laws to regulate carbon. Apparently, Joe Manchin has cut a deal with Chuck Schumer to slip into this bill language overturning that decision, which empowers the EPA to destroy your job. And I'll tell you, there's no group that is getting hammered more by this terrible bill than coal miners in West Virginia. It is insane that when we're facing a recession and skyrocketing inflation, the Democrats are saying, let's hit working men and women even harder so we can pay off our lobbyist billionaire buddies.
Senator, can you expand? I'm not aware of this, to overturn West Virginia versus EPA. I don't know what the language is. You are a legal scholar. How does this work? What are they saying? What's in here? Because I think you're breaking some news here.
So what the Supreme Court concluded is that the Clean Air Act doesn't specify regulating carbon dioxide, and they concluded that this is a major policy shift, and if Congress intends to make a major policy shift, Congress has to do it, not unelected bureaucrats. That was a great victory for manufacturers, for small businesses, for energy consumers. But of course, radical environmentalists hate it. So what this bill does is it writes in place several times, carbon, carbon, carbon. It writes it into the EPA law so that they can go back and say, well, now Congress has done this, and apparently Manchin's cut a deal where he's gotten a promise for a pipeline sometime in the future in West Virginia, and in exchange for that, the coal miners all get screwed, and he basically puts the coal industry out of business and drives oil and gas prices in America up dramatically. Consumers are getting the short end of the stick on this, and it's a power grab by the radical left. I don't know why Joe got snookered on this, but I hope he comes to his senses and remembers that bankrupting a bunch of coal miners in West Virginia is a really bad idea.
Yeah, I know, for a lot of reasons, including political reasons. But I'm going to have to look into this. They're writing in carbon emissions to overturn that EPA. That is very bad, sir. So thank you for alerting us. We're going to take a closer look at that. So then, you know, in general, the Biden promise no tax hikes under $400,000 is out the window, according to the staff, the nonpartisan staff, who really, they're no supply-siders on the Joint Tax Committee. They've said it. Mr. Manchin said the other day on this network, on Fox News, that they were Republican partisans. It's just not true, and the staff had to put out a press release. So that's out the window. The idea of no tax hikes in a recession is out the window. And finally, you know, the idea that inflation is caused by excessive federal spending. So we've had, I mean, Steve Moore and I have talked about this. We've had quite a bit of federal spending. I think you would agree. Just in the last couple of weeks, we had this CHIPS Plus bill, which is close to $300 billion. And this bill, whatever it's going to be, is another $400 or $500 billion. I'd say that's inflationary federal spending along with recessionary tax increases. I mean, the messaging, this is not about inflation reduction. It's the reverse. This is George Orwell.
Look, Larry, you're exactly right. And listen, you're a trained economist, but for everyone listening, at the end of the day, it is not complicated, that the money supply determines prices. So if, for example, an apple is $2 and you double the number of dollars in existence, as a general rule of thumb, the price of an apple goes from $2 to $4. There's some complexities in it, but that's a basic general rule of thumb. What we've seen Democrats doing is printing trillions of dollars. Inflation has skyrocketed as a result, and their solution, it's the most asinine thing. Joe Biden stands up and says, our solution to solve inflation is we're going to spend hundreds of billions more and raise taxes. Not only does it not stop inflation, it's the exact opposite. It's like pouring gasoline on a raging bonfire. This is a bill designed to increase inflation. And ironically, the Democrats' talking points about no one under 200,000 or 400,000 will get hurt, all of the people getting hurt are under 200,000 and 400,000. The people benefiting are rich people on the coast who are now getting Green New Deal subsidies, because today's Democrat Party, you know, it's amazing. They made a political choice. It used to be there were two traditional favorite children of the Democratic Party: blue-collar union members and California environmentalist billionaires. Today's Democrats have decided, screw the union members, we're all about the money, and they think that the union bosses will make sure the votes are there, and it explains why working men and women are shifting red dramatically, because this Democratic Party doesn't give a flip whether union members, whether waiters and waitresses, whether cops, whether firefighters, whether all the men and women with calluses on their hands have jobs, and it's why so many people are unhappy with the disaster of the Biden economy.
You know, Senator, I was a Democrat. I mean, it was 50 years ago I was a Democrat. I'm just saying, 50 years ago is a long time. I think I was in college or graduate school 50 years ago. But I learned. And you're tutoring me on an ongoing basis. We love having you on this show. And you're dead right.
And Larry, as you know, if you look at JFK's speeches where he talked about cutting taxes, where he talked about economic growth, And he implemented that. He cut taxes, he cut regulations. Under JFK, we had 5% GDP growth. JFK would be chased out of the Democratic Party and tarred and feathered today. And there are a whole lot of folks. Texas used to be a one-party Democrat state. But much like the old commercial, this is not your father's Oldsmobile, this is not your father's Democrat Party. These are a bunch of transgender, wacko socialists, and a bunch of common sense Democrats are looking around going, I don't know who these people are, but that ain't me.
I wrote a book on it. JFK and the Reagan Revolution kind of walks through it. No, you're right. That's why neither of us are Democrats. Anyway, Senator Ted Cruz, terrific stuff, sir. Can't thank you enough. Appreciate it.